a very special guest coming in today. Right? He's in right now, Peter Ward. Peter, welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I never realized how influential, how, for a lack of better terms, powerful the Hotel Trades Council was. And I've stayed in hotels in this beautiful city. And I got to be honest with you, man. How the heck did you do it? I read this story in the what's the American Prospect about the history of your union. You hooked me up with some publications here on a contract that you got with I believe this is the World's Casino,
Resorts World, yeah.
Resorts World, and this happened overnight, right?
Yeah, it happened very quickly.
I mean, tell us about your union first before we get into the nuts and bolts about how you created one of the strongest local unions in this country.
Okay, look, I can't take credit for creating one of the strongest unions. We have a very good team, and the union has been a very strong, worker-oriented union for almost 80 years. It was founded by immigrants. And it's been a remarkably stable institution. In all these years, there's only been 3 leaders. So I think the key to the organization has been solid leadership, a good farm team of people coming up through the ranks who get trained, who understand what a union is, how a union operates, how to negotiate contracts, how to represent workers, how to do things in workers' interests, how to pursue a political agenda, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So we've had a good farm team, one that I was lucky enough to be on at one point.
Yeah, what did you do before you became the elected leader of the Hotel Trades Council?
Believe it or not, I've been here for 36 years.
Wow.
So I've been at the union my entire adult life.
Wow. So when you were on the job, before you went into the union office, what type of work did you do?
I worked originally at the union.
Oh, okay.
So I came to work at the union in a clerical position back in
I see.
1979.
Wow.
And I've been there ever since.
36 years.
Yeah.
Fighting for working people and in the organization that represents them. Now, in this article here in the American Prospect, came out in, I believe, a couple years ago. Would you entertain me here? Let me read something real quick from it. They were talking about you guys organizing the Boathouse. A very popular location here in Nueva York. And the NLRB was going to register a complaint against the restaurateur Dean Pohl, citing a variety of infractions, including firing pro-union workers, stealing wages and tips, and several instances of sexual harassment. According to the union, the proprietor had ignored complaints when a manager pressured female workers to date him, and when a banquet captain repeatedly stalked a waitress. Pregnant waitresses were given extra work to force them to quit. Employers had long-standing frustrations about low pay, the arbitrary layoffs and shift changes, the lack of bathroom facilities, shared changing rooms for male and female employees, and the refusal to grant sick days. This seems like something you would read in a Vietnamese hotel. It happens right here in Nueva York, this type of stuff.
Look, we had a knockdown, drag-out fight to organize the workers at the Boathouse. I have to tell you that when you play the tape through to its conclusion, we have a contract that provides workers with a good salary, a dignified work environment, health care, all the things that you would want in a contract. And the owner of the establishment, Dean Pohl, has turned out to be a good guy.
That's great.
We have a great relationship. He treats the employees with respect. He honors the contract.
That's great.
And so it's a happy ending.
Yes. You know, and I'm glad that you bring that up because it can't be all skull and drudgery here at Ucomm Radio. We like to bring up the conflict. We like to bring up and encourage the non-union to take that step, to make the call, to say, how do I become union? You know, if they have it, so can I. They must have got it somehow. But you're a professional, and you're not here to mother F your employers. When they become good, you
unless they're
reward good
misbehaving.
Yes, exactly. Because, hey, he's not as horny managers chasing around these cutesy hotel staff. He can't control everything, but you have a great relationship with him. As a result, your people have some of the best health benefits in the country. I mean, explain to me, we have a few minutes, right? Average Joe Tech, we got some time, right, brother? Tell me about this health care plan that you created that is an industry, basically the industry standard.
We've had a healthcare plan that was created by the hotel industry in the union for many, many years, before I even came to the union. I would say, if I don't sound immodest, that We've improved it greatly. Why is it important? We recognized 15, 20 years ago that the escalating costs of healthcare were going to consume every contract negotiation we had, and that all we were really going to be doing was negotiating with one set of corporations to give the money to another set of corporations, which are healthcare insurance companies. We wanted to get off that treadmill. So we worked really hard to create and improve these wholly owned health facilities so that we give our people broad coverage with no out-of-pocket expense in a very, very high-quality setting for way less money than the open market. The experiment has paid off dramatically. Our healthcare costs are 35 to 40% cheaper than the open market. And over the last few contract cycles, we've been able to put money that otherwise would have gone into healthcare into workers' pockets. So today, a dishwasher who works in a union hotel in New York City makes almost $30 an hour.
Wow.
Has comprehensive health care, has a retirement plan, has holidays, sick days, personal days, and language in the contract that ensures that they work in a safe, healthy, dignified environment. But the money in the pocket is a huge qualifying difference when you look at what's going on around New York City.
Yeah.
Even workers and unions are having more and more difficulty getting good pay increases because so much of the collective bargaining is centered around.
There's so many heads right now of listening audience nodding, like especially union leaders who are like, you know, at the utility company, at Verizon, dealing with Con Ed and Greed and Gradamine and all these companies that, yes, okay, we're done with negotiations. Now it's time for the bread and butter, the wages and the health benefits, and it dominates so much time. And hey, listen, let's be honest with ourselves. A bunch of red shirts are going out in August, probably over this issue at at CWA. And pulling from this article again, there's this story, if I could.
Sure.
It's really good right here. It's one of your members saying, "My wife and I had been sweethearts since junior high." Okay. She was working, and they were taking over $100 a month out of her paycheck for her health insurance. I guess it's not very romantic for me to say this, but it was the union health plan that pushed us over the edge to get married. She was getting chronic headaches. They kept telling her it was just stress. Her first visit to the union plan, they did an MRA. They treated. They found a small tumor. Now she's okay now. Now they have a 2-year-old, and and this is all because of my union. Does that make you cry?
Well, I'm a matchmaker. What can I say?
I mean, think about it. I mean, here's a guy who's was struggling, became a union guy, and all of a sudden is part of this men's plan, and you created a middle-class family. I mean, you got to be so proud.
I actually was brought to tears with the Resorts World contract.
Yes, I had that right here.
So, quickly, I'll tell you what happened.
Yes.
The New York State had to create enabling legislation to allow that casino to be built. We were able to lobby the legislature and the governor to put into the legislation a labor peace provision that created a very easy pathway for the property to be unionized. It also had a provision in the neutrality agreement that we signed bilaterally with the company for first contract arbitration in case we reached an impasse.
Wow.
50,000 people showed up for 1,500 jobs.
Wow.
They paid them between $8.50 and $9.50 an hour with virtually no benefits. So when we started to negotiate the contract, the company basically said, look, that's the market. How do we know? Because 50,000 people showed up for 1,500 jobs. So we negotiated them to an impasse, and then we went to interest arbitration, where in a very fair forum, our expert witnesses were able to convince the arbitrator that our cause was just. The workers got an increase to an average of about $20 to $21 an hour immediately.
Yeah, I see that.
Full comprehensive health care and pension and so on and so forth. And by the 4th year of this contract, the average wage will be $30 an hour. So we had workers, and not one or two of them, we had dozens upon dozens of workers in this casino working 40 hours a week who lived in homeless shelters, who were on welfare, who were at the very margins, who were getting Section 8 housing, food stamps, you name it, who now are in the middle class, who now have access to health care, who can buy cars, who can save money for their children to go to school, who are no longer in homeless shelters. And when we went to meet with this group of workers to tell them about this contract, it was an extraordinary moment. I was brought to tears. It was that moving.
Yeah, I mean, you're not only bettering lives, but you are saving people from what could be ultimate doom, you know, because you can't go to work every day and be a productive worker and a contributing member to a team, a business, if when you're going home, you can't eat or you don't have a place to stay. There's no way. It's not good for anybody. And I'm sure that the owners of what's the name of this place again?
Resorts World.
Resorts World aren't exactly starving anyway if they had to spend a little bit more on their workers. I'm sure they're a very wealthy corporation who's doing very well.
The year that we signed that contract, Resorts World was the highest grossing casino in the United States.
Wow. Yeah. So they can afford it. You know, maybe they had one less place to take the mistress to Barbados. Just kidding, you know. But I'm looking at these wages here for barbacks. Contract wage, $23 an hour for a barback. Bartenders, because you get tips, $19.81. Wow. Servers, $14 an hour. That's just great. That's great. Raising the minimum wage. It's going to help your union. It's going to hurt. What do you think?
Well, I'm not so sure that it helps, but it's absolutely essential. We now just have hundreds of thousands of people in New York State, in the Empire State, in the place where this isn't supposed to happen, living at the margins, living in poverty, working 40 hours and more a week. I don't know if you saw what the governor did, but last week he started that wage board. I predict that wage board will find that the wages for fast food workers will have to go up over some period of time to a minimum of $15 an hour. I think the evidence is stark that there's no other solution to the problem. And I think the governor put it the best when he said at his rally to kick the announcement off, "I want New York State to get out of the hamburger business," he said. And what did he mean by that? We, as New Yorkers who pay taxes here, are subsidizing the fast food industry because their workers are on welfare, on public assistance, and can't survive without that help.
Just like at Walmart.
And so he's basically saying, and I agree with him completely, we can't have this kind of corporate welfare any longer. We've got to have a minimum wage that allows people to at least subsist.
And that's why I saw hundreds of your members at that fast food rally a couple weeks ago right here in the Big Apple. And I'm thinking to myself, these are people who make great money. What do they care? You just told us why. You know, raising tides raise all ships. And we got to care about the working poor. And once we stop caring about them and we're selfish, well, guess what? We're all going to fail.
Couldn't agree with you.
You know, because God's on our side. We got to do what's best for everybody, not just for ourselves, you know? So that's Peter Ward, Hotel Trades Council. Thank you, brother, for coming in. Come back a lot, will you?
Sure.
Let us know when you have fights. Let us be an avenue for you to get that word out, okay? Let us educate the trades and the cops and the teachers about what your fights are. Let's go and bring the fight to the bosses, and let's make every hotel in this beautiful city union.
I'm for that.
All right, cool. Thanks,
Great.
brother.
Thank
All
you.
right.